Well, the Mammoth Lakes Police Officers Association put out a press release late last week to announce the resignations and retirements of 5 officers that will take place before the end of this year. Now, the press release states, quote, largely due to the decision of the Town of Mammoth Lakes Town Council as it relates to the upcoming elimination of 7 sworn officer positions, many officers began looking for employment with other law enforcement agencies. Officers were awaiting the results of the town-sponsored public survey that was conducted, in which the Town Council stated that they wanted input from the public before making final decisions as to police layoffs, raising taxes, etc., so that they could do what the community was in favor of. Now, the press release goes on to state that despite at least 65% of the public not being in favor of cutting police services, the Town Council voted 5-0 to move forward with the proposed eliminations in July 2013. They initially proposed layoffs to happen in December 2012, but were reminded that that would be a violation of the MOU between the MLPOA and the town. Now, the press release continues. The MLPOA members are dedicated and have a personal interest in the town, its residents, and visitors. However, our officers cannot work in an environment where the safety of the officers, citizens, and visitors are not a priority of the Town Council. Officer Marty Thompson graduated from Mammoth High School in 1988 and joined the Mammoth Lakes Police Department in 2007. Marty will now be working for the Mono County Sheriff's Department. Marty has been the head coach for the Mammoth High School varsity football team for the past 3 years. Officer Ron Gladding graduated from Mammoth High School in 1995. Ron started his law enforcement career with the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Department in 2005 and has worked for the Mammoth Lakes Police Department since 2006. Ron will now be working for the Bishop Police Department. Officer Jesse Gorham started his law enforcement career in 1989 with the San Diego Police Department and came to work for the Mammoth Lakes Police Department in 1997. Jesse will be retiring from the MLPD and starting the next chapter of his life. And Sergeant Paul Robles started his law enforcement career in 1985 with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. He then went to work for the Bishop Police Department in 1989 and came to work for the Mammoth Lakes Police Department in 2005. Lieutenant John Mayer started his law enforcement career in 1984 with the Hawthorne Police Department before he went to work for the Huntington Beach Police Department. He has been with the Mammoth Lakes Police Department since 1996 and has earned his way through the ranks to his current position. Now, the press release from the MLPOA says, quote, these vacancies will bring the staffing level down to only 10 sworn officers available to patrol during the peak season, with some of those officers likely to be retiring or resigning for other employment opportunities well before July 2013. The press release states it is unlikely that any qualified police officers would come to work for the town of Mammoth Lakes under these working conditions and the fear of layoff. With this limited number of patrol officers, it will not be possible to provide 24-hour police service, the press release states. Police service and presence will be significantly reduced, and with the busy holiday season among us, the MLPOA reminds its residents and visitors to be aware of your surroundings and lock your vehicles. The MLPOA would like to wish its residents and visitors a happy and safe holiday season, and that press release was submitted by Sergeant Paul Robles, outgoing MLPOA president. Well, Bennett Kessler filed this following report. According to informed sources outside town government, Mammoth Town Manager Dave Wilbrecht sent a letter to the town employees group that some call a thinly veiled threat to outsource town jobs unless workers give up a lot more money. The point of threat is a paragraph that says basically that if employees agree on sustainable savings, end quote, contracting out their jobs may not be necessary. Now, Wilbrecht's letter invites employees to meet with him as soon as possible to identify additional cost savings, reduction of salaries, benefits, and greater contributions to pensions by employees. The Town Employees Group, which is represented by the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, has a signed contract with the town of Mammoth through 2016. Now, in the last 4 or 5 years, workers have made several amendments to their contract to reduce salaries and make their own payments into pensions, resulting in cuts of more than 20%. Now, Town Administrative Services Director Mariana Marashiva Martinez had mentioned the potential for outsourcing jobs in her repeated discussions over the past few months on restructuring town government to balance the budget and make the $2 million annual payments to Mammoth Lake's land acquisition. But the concept of outsourcing government jobs has come under serious scrutiny by courts. In late November, the California Supreme Court ruled against the city of Costa Mesa's attempt to lay off more than 100 city employees and outsource their jobs to the private sector. Now, according to reports, the Costa Mesa City Council, a majority, sent out more than 200 pink slips as part of a plan to privatize city services. Now, from Superior Court to Appellate Court and finally the California Supreme Court, judges rejected the city's request to overturn an injunction blocking their outsourcing efforts. Now asked to comment on reports that some see Wilbrecht's letter as a threat to outsource town jobs, Administrative Services Director Martinez said, quote, "I can see why they might see it that way. We want to be as open as possible within contract negotiations," end quote. Now, Martinez said that outsourcing is a matter of legality and common sense and that the town has to work closely with the Employees Association. Now, Martinez said the town ultimately has two goals: to achieve the lowest per employee cost and the most efficient services. Martinez said, quote, "If we can achieve this by working with the association and not outsourcing, I don't see why we would outsource," end quote. Now, she said the employees have already proved to be creative and willing to work with town management. Now, when asked how the town can even discuss outsourcing when employees have a signed contract to 2016, Martinez said discussions need to take place. She said, quote, "We need to look at expenses. We are aware of the legal boundaries," end quote. Now, Martinez said management would meet with workers later this week, and she said there would be a roundtable discussion with workers and local partners regarding volunteer programs and outsourcing ways to reduce costs. Martinez also said the town needs to discuss with employees and the public what services should be candidates for outsourcing and then do further research. She repeated, "I understand the employees' fear. We're trying to develop a process for all to participate to reshape the community," end quote. Now, behind the scenes, some workers and members of the public point to Martinez's new contract, which officials have now confirmed costs roughly $245,000 per year, while at the same time, workers are asked to give up more. The town council plans to vote on the restructuring plan that includes the cuts of employee positions and other items when they meet tonight in a town council meeting. Now, Martinez said in later phases of the restructuring, officials will look at, quote, "alternate service delivery models," end quote. She said this assumes the number of workers at that point would remain the same. Said Martinez, "The only way out is to reduce costs." Bennett Kessler filed this story. Obvious in many places along Highway 395 are construction crews, heavy equipment, large spools of conduit or fiber optic cable between Carson City and Barstow. It's all part of the Digital 395, and Sarah Messeline of Mono County sent out an update on that high-speed internet project. Now, as most know, this is a 583-mile-long fiber network which roughly follows the alignment of Highway 395 as it crosses through Douglas, Mono, Inyo, and eastern Kern counties. Now, the projects consist of a 432-strand high-capacity fiber cable that will connect roughly 250 government, educational, and medical anchor facilities along the route, as well as serve as a much-needed backhaul for telecommunication companies who distribute cellular and internet services to subscribers throughout the area. Now, Messerlin said that after nearly 2 years of wading through a permitting and cultural review process that involved more than 40 different agencies and resulted in over 100 different issued permits, construction on Digital 395 began earlier this summer. Now, the construction portion of the project is being headed up by Praxis Associates, which has 3 separate subcontractors doing the work simultaneously along the route. In Mono County, construction began in August in downtown Bridgeport on Kingsley Street, then quickly moved west out of town and through the Bridgeport Valley. Now, since that time, crews have completed the segment between Bridgeport and Colville, in addition to significant portions of the route outside of Mono County, Barstow to Ridgecrest being one of them. Now, construction recently began on the segments immediately south of Highway 203 and will begin in the areas between Bridgeport and Mammoth in the coming weeks. And the project deadline is July 31st. 2013. Now, completion of this project will mean more capacity for internet use in Inyo and Mono counties and backups for our phone systems. And if you would like to get more information about the project, you can check out our website, sierrawave.net, for contacts.